programs. I'm just leaving work. I've got a couple errands I have to run. And on the ride, I figured I would go ahead and do a little vlogging. We can talk about some stuff. And then once I get to my first destination, I'll take a little break. Have another couple things to talk about, get to the second, and then you'll see why I'm not going to be riding my bike home today. So let's get on the road. All right. So item number one on the topics for today is this idea that I'm still trying to figure out how to approach this, so forgive me if this is not the most focused topic in the world. I'm concerned about the topic of body image and self-esteem. I have kids, and I want my kids to have good self-esteem. I did not have good self-esteem growing up. I know that it's a concern for a lot of people, and a lot of people in my life in particular have a hard time with feeling good about themselves and feeling like they love their bodies and love their accomplishments and feel good about the things that they've done. So I've got a couple thoughts on the subject, and I'm not really settled on this one, so it's going to be hard to talk about and have like a driving point. But essentially, when it comes to body image in particular, I have seen a lot of like the fat shaming and slut shaming and fitness and a lot of the topics that come up around feeling good about your body. And my take on it is that you, first of all, need to love who you are. No matter what you look like, no matter what you do or don't do, love who you are. And you gotta own that. You gotta say, this is me, and this is who I am, and I cannot easily change who I am. There's just no way to go about life saying that you're that you're not happy with yourself. So first of all, you got to take responsibility for who you are. Now, you can say things that happened in my past were not the circumstances I wanted to be in. I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that, this happened to me. My parents didn't raise me to appreciate my body. My parents didn't raise me to make good eating habits. And there's a lot of things you can say about your past, but right now, as of this moment, you gotta put all that behind you. Don't you? I mean, you can't just say, just because I had a bad experience or set of experiences or have never ever had a good time or an easy time with my life, you can't let that hold you back, and you can't rest on being a victim of your own past. So I think it's really important that you say, I am where I am right now, regardless of what got me here. Now, if you're not happy with where you are at this point, own that too. If you think you have changes to make, don't stress yourself over the things that you have or have not done, the mistakes you've made. Make the decision, starting where and when you are, that who you are and who you're going to be does not have to live and die on who you were and what you have done up to now. That's not an easy thing to do. I mean, honestly, the first part, just owning who you are, is something that takes constant self-reminder. I mean, I've had a series of epiphanies over the course of the last few years, and just to go into some personal details, at my heaviest, I was at like 255 pounds or so, and I, had slowly, gradually crept up in weight over the course of a lot of years. Now, back when I was in college, I was riding my bicycle everywhere. I was doing Aikido. I was having a wonderful time, and I was getting around with a lot of exercise, and I could eat regularly a fair amount of food, getting big lunches and stuff, and it didn't matter. I was still dropping weight. So I had gotten down to like 210 pounds at one point in college. And then my girlfriend and I moved to Portland. I got a desk job, and I started creeping up in weight because I was living right across the street from where I worked, so I didn't really have a lot of physical exercise getting to work. I was working a desk job, not really doing anything for physical exercise other than that, so I started to put on weight immediately. And it wasn't noticeable. I mean, I wasn't paying any attention. I wasn't even thinking about the fact that I'd lost all my physical activity. And yeah, my weight started to slide up. So it took 3 or 4 years, and I had gone up about 45 pounds from where I had been. And I wasn't really happy with that when I got to a point where it was like, what am I doing? What happened to me? Because I felt like I was looking real good, feeling good, attractive, and it was a new thing when I got to that point. And then it all kind of crumbled. So I decided I'm not going to keep doing this to myself. I need to do better than this. I gotta fix this. And I started making changes. I started eating better, cut out some of the snacking I was doing, and most importantly, I started getting into an exercise regimen, and I have some activities that I've gotten into that have really kept me going. I've talked about the fact that I'm part of a medieval reenactment group, and so I'm in armored combat, and that takes a lot out of you. I also started running on my lunch breaks, and I did that for about 2 years, and currently I'm kind of off of it because I had a schedule change and got half-hour lunches, so I haven't really had the time to do that, and I may cycle back around to getting back to it soon, I hope. But the point came where I just needed to own what I look like, what I feel like, and how happy I am with myself is my choice. And I am not going to let anybody else tell me how to feel or tell me what I can and can't accomplish. And it changed a lot. It made things so much better. So, that was the start of a big change for me. Now, I really recommend, I'm not saying you have to exercise, and that's the thing. On the topic of like body image, I don't think you have to be an exercise nut. I don't think you have to do all the work to look as trim and fit as you can. I don't want to give you my standards and tell you you have to do things the way I do them. Okay, little break here. Run into the FedEx office and pick up some stuff. I'll be right back. So, as I was saying, I'm not one to judge. I've been big myself, and a lot of people that I care about are larger. I don't think it's about whether you are thin or fat, I just want you to feel good about your body. And I think the most important part of that is just saying, this is me. And if I'm not happy with what I look like or how I feel, I have to make changes. And that work belongs to me. I can't blame anybody else for that. I'm responsible for how I feel about my body and what it looks like and what I do with it. So, if you don't like it, make changes. And if you do like it, great. If you're on the right path, if you work you want to be doing and you've got the body you want, that's fantastic. But don't hold yourself unaccountable for what you look like. I don't want that to sound like I'm like callous towards people who genuinely feel like they have something wrong with their body, or people who have physical ailments or disabilities that prevent you from doing the kind of work you want to do. But if you can't do the work that it would take to change your body, or it's impossible because you're injured or have, medical conditions or things that make it impossible for you to do more, you got to own that too. And you got to say, well, this is me, and if I can't change it, I have to find a way to be happy with this. And then taking that beyond just the realm of the physical, I think that other things like your characteristics, your personality, you got to find a way to be happy about yourself too. If you've got, a personality trait that people tell you is not desirable, if you can't square that, work on what you're like and how you feel about the world. And if you don't want to, you got to own that too and say, yeah, okay, so this is me. This is what I'm like. And that doesn't give you license to then be a dick about it. And that's a big problem that I see, is that a lot of people use that as a smokescreen to save themselves from ever having to try and be polite or reasonable with other people, because they're like, well, I'm just being honest, or I'm just being me. Well, sure, you're just being you, but that doesn't really give you the right to foist yourself on others and make yourself a burden to everyone else to interact with. You got to be better than that. But if you are trying, the counterpoint is then, you're doing what you can. So really what I want to do is give everybody the benefit of the doubt, and I would like to see others give each other the benefit of the doubt and give me the benefit of the doubt. That's one of the hardest things, I think, is when you know in your own mind all the work you put into yourself, but you don't know what other work people put into themselves and how hard they work on making themselves happy. And if they've tried eating well, if they've tried habits that'll change things for themselves, and it's not doing what you think it should do, that doesn't mean they're not trying. So I think that encouragement and giving people credit for what they are doing, and then encouraging them in baby steps and bit by bit to do more and make that next stride is way more effective for making changes. People want to feel validated, and they want to feel like their efforts are appreciated. And I think that if you don't do that, and instead you condemn them for what they haven't done, if you make them feel unworthy or unvalued because of what they haven't done, that's very discouraging. And if you want to see them make changes, most people, not all people, but most people don't respond well to criticism. It's way better to, provide them with a sense of worth and validation so that they feel like they have a platform on which to base further changes. So that's my take on self-worth and self-esteem. And I have to think about these things because I have kids. So I'm kind of stuck in the position of worrying about, how are my kids going to grow up? What are they going to be going through? How am I going to help bolster and prevent them from suffering things? I have a son and a daughter, and they're both very young right now, so I'm not overly concerned about it at the age they're at. But there's going to come a time where all the things that I take for granted that I've been through are going to be fresh problems for them. And all the messages they get from the TV they watch and the magazines and the internet, that could be very formative for them. And what I'm hoping to do as a parent is provide them with a basis to have armor against the world and not allow the world to tell them how they're supposed to be. I think that one of the strengths we have as a country, as a culture, as a world, is variety. And I think that if you try to compel people to all be a particular way, you're actually taking something away from our society. And I'm not saying that every way you can be is a way that you should be, because I don't think it's a good idea to have psychopaths, sociopaths, and the intensely greedy, intensely selfish type of people in any quantity. I think that's all detrimental. But other than a certain small set of qualities that I think are really harmful, I think that having different kinds of people who value different things and enjoy different aspects of life is actually what makes a culture great. I think that dumbing a culture down and restricting it to only certain attributes and only certain interests is actually really bad for it. Now, topic number 2, the second thing I want to talk about today, since I'm on the road and I'm not going home right now, is where am I headed and why? So, this is my throttle, and it does this before I get any actual resistance. So I can just freely spin it about 20 degrees before it actually gives me any juice. So from there, nothing, engagement. So that is because on the inside of here, there's the throttle cable slips off to the side and actually is currently bound up. So according to the tech at the dealership when they looked at this, so this was examined and they found this problem, and I had warned them about, I felt like there's too much play in my throttle. When I went in for my first service, I told them about that, and they looked into it and found that was the reason. So they said, okay, well, it's under warranty, it's a brand new bike, we can get that replaced for you, and we'll let you know when it's in, and they usually need to bring your bike in and get it taken care of. So that part came in about 2 weeks ago, and I've been really slacking off and not getting over there. So I do want Lydia to be in good shape, and for that reason I am headed over to the dealership. I got a friend picking me up there, and it's time to take care of this. Hopefully it'll actually resolve the issue. I'm not totally convinced that replacing the cable is going to be the solution. I'm a little concerned that it's the housing that's actually just giving it too much room and causes it to slip off like that, or that something about my habits for accelerating causes it to happen. And I'm not convinced that the throttle cable on its own can take care of that. But if it can't, I don't know what can. So I'm gonna drop Lydia off. I have to do it today, even though they're not gonna do the work until tomorrow, because tomorrow Motorsport Hillsboro is doing a stunt show, and by the time you're watching this, they will have, either it's today or it already happened. And I don't have a huge viewer base, so it's not like I'm giving news to a whole bunch of people that's going to be useful. But if it happens to be Saturday, August 9th, when you're watching this, then come on down to Motorsport Hillsboro, because they're doing a stunt show and the whole road's closed outside the dealership. And it should be a good time. Now, I myself am not going to be able to go there. I could drop my bike off in the morning, but the fact is that I have got plans to go to the coast with my family, so it made more sense for me to try and drop off the evening before when there's no traffic, and I'm not fighting through the crowds to try and take my bike over and drop it off at the service center. So that's what I'm up to right now. It's the only issue that I've got on my bike that actually demands a fix. I do have as I previously mentioned in my rookie mistakes video, my shifter pedal is bent, and that's an issue that technically I could get a new one, but it works. It's not, the metal's not stressed to the point where it's in danger of falling apart. I'm happy with the position it's in. It doesn't hit against the bar for shifting when it passes past it. When it's going up and down, it's not an issue. So right now this throttle cable thing is the only issue that I'm dealing with, and just looking to get it replaced and hope that takes care of the problem. So I'm going to be out of town this weekend, so it's no loss to me for my my bike to be in the shop getting serviced. And it is going to leave me without a bike until Tuesday because the dealership's not open on Mondays. And that means Monday when I go to work, I got to take an actual cage. But so be it. I mostly get to ride every day during the summer here. This has been pretty nice. Just tooling around town on Lydia every damn day. I can stand to take a day where I have to ride my actual cage into work. Here we're coming up on one of my least favorite places. It reminds me of my first ever accident. Oh, let's put a link up on the screen for rookie mistakes, because this is the self-same roundabout where I crashed my bike, mile 1. And if you have not watched that video, which actually by views you probably have, but that's where I wrecked, right over there. So check that video out. And I'm coming up on the dealership. Thanks for watching. And you have a wonderful weekend or a nice night. Good day to you all. Whatever time it may be. Have a good one. Bye-bye.